pretty. Come along. Hey garden gals and guys, it's Steph with Tiny's Garden, and I'm coming to you today with part 2 of my seed haul for the 2024 season. I'm also going to tell you when I'm planning on starting these or sowing these in my soil blocks this year, according to my last frost date of April 25th. I'm in zone 5B/6A in the Chicago suburbs. Make sure that when I'm giving you these dates, you adjust based on your last frost date. So if you don't know your last frost date based on your zip code, do a quick Google search. You can find that and then adjust based on that. I have Johnny seeds here, and I also have some Flora. The Flora At Ones are discontinued. She's not selling anything but her originals, which go on sale on Tuesday. So I decided to still share them with you just so you knew what I was growing, but unfortunately you probably won't be able to find these through her website. Google and see what you can find somewhere else. I'll also link their seed resource guide below. They have put one together, Flora, Erin, and her team, of places they really recommend for seeds. So you can still find them, but not through Flora. I really thought I held myself back this year because I'm delivering twins by June 10th. I don't really think I did. Let's jump right in, everybody, because I've got a lot to get through. So the first thing is sweet peas, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned this because they're going to be started very soon, 10 to 12 weeks before your last frost date, which for me is planting now. Today is February 4th. Yes, February 4th. So sometime between now and February 15th, I want to get these into their soil blocks. Now, I did an experiment last year and I started all of my sweet peas in 2-inch soil blocks in my greenhouse. I actually never put them under the lights inside. P.S. These are growing really well, and they've only been out in the greenhouse. I haven't had them inside at all, and their coloring is what I know is the difference between the ones that I started inside and have now taken them out. Those are much longer, but their coloring is a little less vibrant green, deep dark green, and this is healthier looking. Bree from Blossom and Branch Farm Regenerative Gardening, that's her YouTube channel. She did that with hers, and I thought I'm gonna give it a try, and it worked. It worked really well. I thought it was less maintenance than starting them inside. So I'm going to do that again. If you have a greenhouse, maybe that's something to think of. Otherwise, you can certainly start them inside. Definitely recommend doing sweet peas either along a fence with a trellis, or you can do them in your raised beds with a trellis in the middle. Any sort of trellis or garden ornamental iron statue. What are those called? Oh my gosh, pregnancy brain. Obelisk? Any of the above. I did that last year in one of my raised beds, and it was my favorite part of my cut flower garden. It was so beautiful. I had the sweet peas going up the center of the bed, and then some chimchimney, rudbeckia, and feverfew through the rest of the bed, and it was just magical. I took so many shots of that view because I loved it. So experiment and do different things, plant them different places because they're worth it. Their scent is amazing, and the colors are just magical. We have Mr. P, Nimbus, Raspberry Flake. This was one of my favorites from last year. Very similar to Jeff Hughes. I recommend both of them if you can get your hands on them. Restore Mel, probably my favorite of all time. It is this beautiful bright coral / red one. Absolutely stunning. Basically glows anywhere you put it. Like a boom, shakalaka pink, but not in like a gross magenta way. I'm sorry if you like magenta. I don't love magenta. Blue Shift. Bristol, which this is a new one for me. And Earl Grey. I guess I didn't get my hands on Jeff Hughes this year. I really enjoyed that one from last year. Very similar to Raspberry Flake. Maybe next year. Sweet peas are very cold hardy, so you can plant them out a little bit before the last frost or shortly after the last frost, but they do very well and they'll take off.
These were planted April 8th last year and they did great.
Next, we have all my Rudbeckia, also known as Black-Eyed Susan. I've got 3 different varieties here. Now, ironically, I've got 2 from Flora and 2 from Johnny's, and they say to start them at a little different times. Flora says start 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost, which for me, that's February 15th. Johnny says start 5 to 7 weeks, which is March 7th. So you can probably go either way. I personally like to start them a little earlier as opposed to later because I think they do take a little longer to grow, but they're phenomenal. It was one of my favorite cut flowers in the garden last year. And believe me, the generic Black-Eyed Susans you see in garden beds a lot in the landscape, I'm not a huge fan. But these particular varieties that are specialized varieties for cut flowers are perfect, add a great little punch into bouquets. And last year was my first year with Chimney, and it was outstanding. That is one of them that I planted under the sweet peas, and it was so pretty. Looks like a chimney sweeper, but really, really fun and different. I also have Sahara. That is one that I planted last year as well. The colors in Sahara, burgundies and yellows and reds, so, so pretty. It's a nice juxtaposition between the bright yellow that a lot of the other Rudbeckias have.
Oh, Sahara Rudbeckia came back. Again, I'm in zone 5B.
I have another Sahara from Johnny's because, again, I like that one so much. I guess I got 2 packs. And then a new one for me that I've seen with other YouTubers, and I think they look really interesting and they get rave reviews all the time for bouquet work, and that is Rudbeckia triloba. So from what I understand, they're smaller blooms, but really beautiful. Almost more like a filler flower. Then we have 6 to 8 weeks before my last frost. I'm gonna plant Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. Now, if you want a filler flower that is versatile and is dark, looks especially great in fall bouquets, this is your filler plant. It gets huge. I've planted it in the ground before. I planted it in pots before. I planted it in raised beds before, and it does well everywhere I put it. This is one that I will start in 2-inch soil blocks because it grows rapidly and it grows big. So I want those roots to have room to grow. I've been fairly neglectful of these sometimes in seed starting, and they still do a great job. So I recommend trying Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus if you have not, because it's fabulous. You do have to make sure that you sear the ends after you harvest them because they are weepers.
Or you can use Quick Dip 100 with them.
Now as we go, you might see these will start to weep because they're weepers, which means when they're just put in water with no special hydrating treatment, their leaves will weep or look wilty. I will come in and use Quick Dip before I put them in a bouquet, and these will perk right up and look beautiful. And also 6 to 8 weeks out, I'll do Sweet Black Cherry Dianthus. I love this flower. It's not even that popular, but the rich, velvety, dark red blooms and the smell. The smell is up there with sweet peas in stock. Takes me to another world. So I do love to have these on hand. I think it looks beautiful in bouquets as well. Now we have a vegetable, and I am going to cover the vegetables that I got this year. This one I'm going to start to sow in late February, and it's a special one because it's my son's name. It is a Bridger onion. We call my son Briggs, but his full name is Bridger. And so I just get this because it's such a unique name, and who knew there was an onion named Bridger Onion. Right now I'm a mama magnet, it seems. So we're gonna roll with it, everybody, because this is real life. Apparently you can plant these in the fall and they'll overwinter and come up in the spring, but I'm just gonna start some in late February. Now 5 to 7 weeks before my last frost, which is March 7th. I missed these last year. Oh, did I miss these last year? Cosmos. Now I did do 2 varieties of Cosmos. I tried Apricot Lemonade and what was the other one? Apricot Lemonade. You can tell they were super underwhelming for me. Apricota? I'll put it on the screen, but I was not impressed. They didn't look great in bouquets. They didn't even look great in the raised bed. The coloring was underwhelming to me. Not for me. I missed the ones that I had the year before in more of the classic shades, like the Fizzy White Cosmo. Cupcakes Blush. And my personal favorite, Double Click Snow Puff. Oh, so gorgeous. These did great for me in my raised beds 2 years ago, and they look fabulous in bouquets. Flying low. Glad to have them back in my garden. I still have all of these seeds. Let's keep going, shall we? Another one I'm bringing back this year, 5 to 6 weeks, I'll start it before my last frost date, is stock. 2 years ago and even 3 years ago, I did stock, and it was okay. Definitely has a beautiful smell, but it didn't blow me away. You can have single stock flowers or you can have double stock flowers. And you can call through them when they're seedlings and try and pick out which ones are going to be doubles, because I do think the doubles are more pretty. They're fuller, but I didn't do them last year. And I kind of miss them. They're good in bouquets and they have that scent, which is great. So I'm bringing some stock back. Iron Apricot stock. Cat's Ruby stock. Iron Blue stock. And now here's the kicker. These are all from Johnny's, but this particular stock out of the 4 says start 8 to 10 weeks before my last frost. All of the others say 5 to 6. So I think I'm just gonna do all of them at 5 to 6 to keep them together. March 14th. If you know why Iron Cherry stock is different for the start date than the rest, please comment below and let me know, because I find that rather puzzling. Now we have the rest of my vegetables, which I believe are all tomatoes. We'll see here in a second. I really wasn't going to do any vegetables this year, but I found last year I missed them a little bit, especially tomatoes. So I just bought some at the garden center really late in the season and put them in the ground. I think I'm going to do them from seed, give a bunch to my parents and neighbors and mother-in-law and father-in-law and such, and save a few for at least one bed in our garden, because it's fun to pick your vegetables with your kids and things like that. Plus, they're delicious. So 5 to 6 weeks before my last frost date, I'll start these. I think I'm going to do tomatoes this year in the 2-inch soil blocks. I think they'll tend to do better there because they grow fast and quick, and you want their roots to have more room to grow and spread out. So first we have a Heirloom Tomato, Cherokee Purple, Sunrise Bumblebee. I picked a bunch of new ones this year. I don't even remember what this one looks like, but I think if it said it was sweet, I definitely got it. Then an Indeterminate Tomato, Indigo Cherry Drops. Another Heirloom Tomato, Brandywine. I've definitely heard of this before. I've never grown it. And a classic, probably my favorite that I've ever grown and eaten, Sun Gold Cherry Tomatoes. Mom, tell Dad he's getting a lot of tomato starts this year. Then 4 to 6 weeks before my last frost, I have one Amaranth. And I'm realizing I think this is the only Amaranth I purchased. So it'll do. Emerald Tassels, this is a new one. I've grown Red Spike and I've grown Hot Biscuits. I honestly was a little underwhelmed with Hot Biscuits. It looks nice in a bouquet. It's that gold harvesty color and it just drapes out. But I think I'll like the emerald with a little bit more punch better. So we'll see. Then 3 to 5 weeks before my last frost date, on March 21st, I will start some Strawflowers. King Size Orange. This is a new one for me. Hear me out. I grew King Size Raspberry Rose last year, and I was so neglectful with some of my seedlings. When I went on vacation, they didn't make it, and then they didn't get in the ground till late. And I think I had 2 come to fruition, but they were gorgeous. I didn't get my hands on it this year, but I highly recommend King Size Raspberry Rose. And also Apricot Mix from Flora. The Flora At One says start 6 weeks before your last frost date. So again, you've got a little wiggle room anywhere from 6 to 3 weeks out. Now, 4 weeks before my last frost date, March 28th, it's gonna be a Zena party. And that's not counting the ones I'm gonna buy on Tuesday from Flora At Originals. Can you believe that 3 years ago, I never grew zinnias and I didn't think they were that pretty from what I'd seen? Changed woman. I tried them last year. No, 2 years ago. Loved them. So easy to grow, low maintenance, prolific, big, beautiful in bouquets, versatile. I love a zinnia. You can either start these before the last frost indoors, or you can just direct sow them. That's why it's a great beginner flower. Direct sow means you're just putting it directly in the dirt after your last frost. So you've got some options there. I like to give them a head start inside because then they grow faster. The first variety is Queenie Lime with Blush. Didn't have this one last year, had it the year before, and I missed it, so I'm glad to have this back. Benary's Giant Salmon Rose, my heart. I love this one. It's my favorite that I've ever grown. It is my favorite. Gorgeous salmon color. Big, big bloom. Can't go wrong. Benary's Giant Deep Red, a close second, I would say. I love the deep red that it brings. I'm not growing the scarlet one this year. I decided the scarlet one I just didn't love. It was pretty, but I didn't love it. And that's me trying to cut back this year because of everything that's happening here. Saying that I cut back by 1 seed packet is a little laughable now that I've got 56 seeds packets around me. Queenie Lime Orange. I haven't grown this Queenie type, so I'm excited to see how it does. Queenie Lemon Peach. Obviously, I got on the Queenie train. I've never done anything except the Queen Lime with Blush, and I thought what I've seen of these from other people growing it is really pretty. Benary's Giant Coral. Also a new one for me. I tend to love coral, so maybe it could be a tender for my favorite zinnia. And Queenie Formula Mix. I don't even remember what this is, but great. And Cinderella Peach. I'm trying this one again. This one is from Flora. I did not have good luck with this the first year I tried it, which is 2 years ago. I didn't even mess around with it last year. I think it looks most beautiful in the double bloom, but I had a lot of single blooms and I didn't think they were very pretty when I grew it. So we're gonna try again. 2 more piles to go. We're almost there. Now, if you can believe this or not, I've never grown sunflowers. How can I not grow sunflowers? Well, I've had them every year and I never get them in the ground by that time of year. But for whatever reason, I think I'm going to this year. 2 to 3 weeks prior, you can start these indoors or you can just direct sow them into the ground outside after the last frost, which I think I will probably do because it's so hectic at that time of year. 2 to 3 weeks prior to my last frost would be April 11th. April, May, June. I'm gonna be huge by then. We have Chocolat, Autumn Beauty, Desert Sun, Pro Cut Red, Pro Cut White Night, and that's it. I keep seeing these every year on YouTube from other growers and they just look so pretty in bouquets. And I think I've been missing that in mine. I would love a sunflower here or there in a bouquet, especially these unique varieties. I remember what my last pile is and I need your feedback here. I need your feedback. These are 4 that I went through and I was kind of like, This is me trying to cut back again. I think I want to do a seed giveaway with these last 4 Flora packets I have. Are you all interested in a seed giveaway? And up on reflection of all of these seeds that I've done between part 1 and part 2, maybe I should add more to this pile. We have Calendula, Zeolites, and this one is pretty. I've grown this before. It's a great pest attracting plant, which means that pests that can be in the garden tend to go on that plant and not your other plants. I also like the color of it. It's okay in a bouquet, but it doesn't get my blood pumping, you know what I mean? Definitely pretty though. It's just like, is this the year that I'm gonna start and put time and effort into it when I'm trying to cut back? Then we have pincushion flower, and this is the only pincushion flower I would grow this year, but this is one that I've taken pretty much off of my list this year, except for Snow Maiden, because I've heard so much good things about it. So I did buy Snow Maiden. But again, am I gonna have the time and energy? Lacy Blue Lace Flower. This one I've had for 2 years now, and I think it looks so beautiful and different, and I love the blue. For your information, you would start the lace flower 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost. For me, that's February 15th. Calendula, you would start 4 to 6 weeks out, which is March 14th. For me, 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost date on February 29th, you would do the Snow Maiden pincushion flower. And then this one, I'm on the fence. I have wanted to grow this for so long and never have, and I keep hearing it's one of the best filler flowers out there, which is White Finch or Leia. What do you guys think? Do I need to do this? Do I need to make time? Or should I give it away? 6 weeks before the last frost date, March 14th. So let me know if you think a seed giveaway would be fun and you're interested in these 4 packets. Let me know, because I really do feel better about giving them away, especially before they're supposed to be started, and having someone be able to put the right amount of time and care into them and be much more excited, and then let me know how they're doing. It's not too late. Check out the Johnny's website, because I had good luck with getting pretty much anything I wanted. Maybe by the time it's the end of March, early April, I can just put the little seed cup on my tummy and sew them that way. It's gonna be an interesting year. Okay, thank you everybody for coming along. Comment below, let me know your favorite varieties that I have listed, also the favorite ones that you are growing and got your hands on this year. We will see you in the next one. Also, be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, to follow along with all things garden. Thanks for watching. Happy planting, everybody. Bye.